They say when you marry someone, you marry their family too. But what if the family never wanted you there in the first place? Sometimes the real drama isn't between the couple, it's across the dinner table hidden behind passive-aggressive smiles, whispered critiques, or backhanded compliments from someone who swears they mean well. Today we bring you 3 true stories of in-law conflict situations so familiar they might feel uncomfortably close to home. These aren't wild scandals. They're the kind of wounds that settle into family photos and Sunday dinners, until one day they split everything apart. So, we ask you, when it comes to marriage and family, how much disrespect is too much, right? Or so wrong? Story 1. Melissa's story. The dinner that ended it. Melissa had been married to David for 5 years when it finally happened. She'd always had a complicated relationship with his parents, especially his mother, Evelyn. From the beginning, Evelyn made it clear that no one would ever be good enough for her only son. Melissa wasn't dramatic. She let things slide. At the engagement party, when Evelyn gave a toast and called David the best thing that ever happened to this family, and the only one with taste, Melissa smiled through it. At their wedding, Evelyn wore white. Still, Melissa tried. Sunday dinners, holiday hosting, polite texts. She didn't want a feud. She wanted peace. For the first few years, they lived in a small apartment while saving for a house. David's parents would visit occasionally. Melissa would cook meals planned for days, tables set with care. Evelyn never once said thank you. Sometimes she'd pick at the food. One time she accidentally poured salt on a casserole before tasting it. Another time she whispered to David that the roast was dry loud enough for Melissa to hear. David brushed it off. She's just old-fashioned, he'd say. Ignore it. But Melissa wasn't imagining it. It wasn't just the food, it was the looks. The way Evelyn would comment on her outfits, her work schedule, how unfortunate it was that they didn't have children yet. Then came the dinner. It was Thanksgiving. Melissa had spent 3 days prepping. She wanted it to be perfect, not just for them, but for herself. She wanted for once to feel like Evelyn respected her. She made turkey, stuffing homemade cranberry sauce. She baked 3 pies. She ironed napkins, set the table with their best plates, lit candles. Dinner began well enough. The conversation was light. David was beaming. Melissa felt hopeful until Evelyn took a bite of the mashed potatoes. She frowned, put down her fork. Is there rosemary in this? Melissa nodded. Just a little. Why? Evelyn sipped her wine, looked around the table, then said, I guess we're doing experimental Thanksgiving now. Silence. David gave a nervous chuckle. Melissa's hand froze around her glass. Then Evelyn turned to her husband. Harold, don't eat too much of that. You know what happened last time with Melissa's cooking? Melissa stood up. David said, honey. But Melissa walked to the kitchen, picked up the pie, walked back to the table, and placed it gently in front of Evelyn. I made this one just for you, she said. Then she turned to David. And this is the last dinner we'll ever host for your parents in this house. And she meant it. From that day forward, the door was closed. David, to his credit, supported her. Melissa had set her boundary, and he honored it. They still saw Evelyn, but only in neutral places. No more holidays, no more dinners, no more insults masked in fine china. Because sometimes the first real taste of freedom comes from saying, that's enough. Story 2. Jordan's story. The wedding war. Jordan never saw himself as someone who would argue with his mother. She was strong-willed, sharp-tongued, and adored him since birth. He was her first child, her miracle baby born after years of trying, and she never let him forget it. So when he got engaged to Priya, a quiet, thoughtful woman with a quick wit and a love for gardening, his mother had opinions. Not concerns, Not questions. Opinions. She's nice, I guess. But is she really the type to stand beside you? Does she understand how big your family is? How much pressure this wedding will bring? She's soft. Are you sure she can keep up? Jordan shrugged it off at first. He loved Priya. She grounded him. She listened. She didn't play games. And after 2 years of dating, he knew what he wanted. But as soon as the wedding planning began, his mother Linda stepped in. It started small. She suggested venues, then demanded them. She offered to help with catering, then changed the menu without asking. Priya, ever polite, let it happen for a while. Then came the dress. Priya had found one she adored, sleek, minimal ivory silk with cap sleeves. She brought it home and showed Jordan. He teared up. Linda saw a photo and said, "That's it. That looks like something off a clearance rack." Jordan stayed silent. Priya bit her tongue. But the real war began with the guest list. Jordan and Priya wanted a small wedding. 80 guests. Intimate. Linda sent over a list of 143 family members, from cousins Jordan hadn't seen in a decade to great-aunts who barely remembered his name. When Priya asked to trim it down, Linda said, "This isn't just your day, it's ours too." The next week, Linda showed up to a florist meeting uninvited. When Priya politely asked if they could have a little space, Linda responded, "I'm paying for half this wedding. I think I get a say." Jordan finally snapped. "You're not marrying me, Mom. Priya is. And if you keep pushing her out, you'll push me out too." There was silence. Linda didn't speak to him for a week. Then came an email. "I won't attend a wedding I wasn't allowed to shape." Jordan read it twice, then deleted it. The wedding went on. 82 guests, a garden ceremony, a simple string quartet. Linda didn't come. And Jordan, though heartbroken, didn't regret it, because the first vow he ever kept was to stand beside the woman he chose. Story 3. Natalia's story. The sister-in-law who broke us. Natalia wasn't just marrying into a family, she was marrying into a dynasty. That's how it felt when she met Eric. His family was tight-knit, loud, proud, and overwhelmingly present. His parents lived 10 minutes away. His cousins came by unannounced. His younger sister, Mia, treated his apartment like her second home. At first, Natalia didn't mind. She came from a quieter family where people knocked planned and asked first. So Eric's chaos felt vibrant, alive. But over time, the warmth turned stifling, especially with Mia. Mia was 6 years younger, still living with their parents, but constantly in their business. She'd show up during date nights, borrow things without asking, leave clothes in their bathroom just in case she stayed over. Natalia brought it up gently at first. "Maybe Mia can text before dropping by?" Eric would shrug. "She's just used to being close. It's a family thing." But the real trouble started after the wedding. Mia didn't like Natalia's boundaries. She called them rules. She didn't like that Natalia wanted a separate holiday this year. She called it pulling Eric away. Then came the lies. One night, Eric came home cold and distant. "Mia said you've been talking about my family behind my back." Natalia blinked. "What I said, I felt overwhelmed sometimes." That's all. Eric didn't believe her. From then on, things spiraled. Natalia would make a comment, Eric would question her loyalty. Mia would accidentally mention things that twisted Natalia's words. Then at a family barbecue, it boiled over. Natalia brought a bottle of wine. Mia made a face. "Oh, I thought we weren't drinking tonight." Natalia smiled. "It's for whoever wants," Mia whispered to their mother. Moments later, Eric's mom pulled Natalia aside. "Maybe don't bring alcohol around Mia. You know she's sensitive." Natalia was stunned. "She's 24. Eric said it's not worth the fight. Just let it go." But Natalia was done letting it go. She stopped attending gatherings, stopped replying in the group chat. She created space hoping Eric would fill it with support. Instead, he filled it with silence. A month later, Mia posted a selfie with Eric on her birthday. Caption, "My forever soulmate." Natalia packed her bags that night. Eric begged her to stay. "It's not her fault. She just loves me too much." Natalia looked at him and said, "Then marry her." She walked out. And for the first time in a long time, she could breathe. Because sometimes the most toxic person in a marriage isn't your partner. It's the person they refuse to protect you from. 3 stories, 3 marriages tested not by love but by the families circling them. A dinner ruined. A wedding hijacked. A sister-in-law turned saboteur. These weren't strangers. These were supposed to be family. So, we ask you, when family becomes the problem, do you fight to keep peace? Or do you walk away to keep yourself whole? Let us know in the comments. Pick a side, right or so wrong.